I'm Don. Welcome to Church of Making Your Day. Walking right this way is my beautiful wife, Natasha.
Hello.
I think you can tell by now we got a dog under the table that likes, hey, a 140-pound dog that likes to snore a lot. I'll just kick her once in a while. We'll get through it. Okay, we're doing Numbers, chapter 4. Let's open up in prayer. Father in heaven, we come before you so thankful again, Lord God, that we can continue this ministry in a world that's changing ever more, and not for good. We thank you that you've blessed us so much, God. We ask you to bless the people in the audience, the listening audience. We ask you to open our minds and our hearts and our souls and our spirits to your word that changes lives. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 And we continue to read wisdom of God and His beautiful explanation things in a way that admirable, and the understanding of it as more we're going through the details of it, absolutely incredible. Just like a previous chapter, we start talking about exchange of the energy in terms of people, right? When God was trying to exchange children of Israel that He would like to have to serve in Tabernacle to Levites, and from 1 month old and up, and exchange was to firstborn again of Israel, children of Israel. And the difference only was about 260,000. So we had about 22,000 Levites, right? And then we had a little bit over number of children of Israel. And you would think that this number would not be matter in exchange, in making that decision, but it is. And the importance of this to start more and more to understand that everything is energy, and any movement, any exchange that you do in your life, regardless at home, at work, in your career, you dealing with exchange of the energy. So just you will see in this chapter 4, that God talks about different colors, right? Sometimes He uses colors blue, or purple, or scarlet as a red. Now it's kind of interesting to think about, because if you look at the spectrum of the colors, that the low energy color is actually red, and the highest energy color is actually purple. So this gets you understanding why royalty have this purple clothing. And the main reason for that, because they have to make so many decisions in their life. They have to take care of the kingdom, right? And because of that, they need as much energy as they possibly can, because again, energy going to bring them that exchange, right? The abundance of all kind of things. We're talking about kingdom as a basically abundance of everything possibly you can have. Then it's successful kingdom, right? Because if you have a kingdom, poor kingdom, there's nothing there, right? There's not enough of let's say cows and sheep and not enough food for people. That is a poor kingdom. And we had situation like this in the Bible. And what does it tell you? It means that king that controls that kingdom does not have enough energy, and because there's no exchange happening with abundance, with money. So what happened then in this situation, when God describes, He also talk about different colors. Sometimes He used scarlet with a low energy vibration, even though it's beautiful. Look at the microphones. We have red colors, right? And you think that red is beautiful, so it's kind of vibrant. Well, according to the energy, if we talk about quantum physics, that red is the lowest energy color. and purple is the highest energy color. So that's why you know that the purple considered to be a royal color. Now let's look at the Revelation, where this lady at the very end, Revelation, she was on
Scarlet.
Yeah, she was using the scarlet clothing.
Crimson, red.
Very low energy vibration, because she is not coming from God, obviously not. She is from opposite side. So let's think about how people picture sometimes Satan or devil, right? They picture him in a little red suit, right, with the red eyes, right? So this all tells
yellow eyes, horns, right? Little spike on the tail.
Okay, for example.
That's the devil, right? No.
For example.
That's not.
But
that's a joke.
Right, but the point is that the paint in red and the scarlet color and everything that belongs to it, following that low energy vibration. So when you will see that God asks for particular type of colors, he is talking that this situation needs to be carried with high energy vibration, right? And then he proposed to use purple colors. And if the situation needs to have a low energy vibration, then he proposed to use a low energy vibration. I got confused myself now. I think with what I was talking about. So
purple, red,
you will see in a minute what I said.
Picking up good vibrations.
So, so for a moment, I just want to go back just for a second on Exodus 26 on verse 14, and I'm just gonna read you one verse. And God said, when he was talking about tabernacle at the very beginning, he was asking certain things done in a certain way. And you already know what happened when people do not do what God asked them to do in the way he asked them to do, right? You already know. They
get fried.
You already know what happened was exchange of the energy, and when exchange of the energy just simply not in alignment with God guidance. So if you're, for example, here with the tabernacle, he said, and thou shalt make a covering for the tents of ram's skin dyed red, right? Dyed red. We just said red is a low energy vibration. And he continues, and covering above of budget skin. So if you think about the tent, the whole tabernacle where this incredible energy of the God was present, was not for everybody, was not for everyone. If you remember, was time when God said, don't even come closer to the mountain, right? Don't touch the mountain, stay away from the mountain.
People and animals.
So what happened that if you will take a tabernacle when the God himself appear and guide his people through, that tabernacle should be these people that around basically this tabernacle, they should be protected from this high energy vibration that God had. Well, you would say, what about people, Levites, right? The one that actually were priests. But remember that God decided that Levites are worth enough to have them on his side, and still there's a certain arrangements and certain restrictions that Levites should have. Remember, was the entire chapter that we talk about, all was about Levites, the rules, right? Mm-hmm. Don't do this, don't do this, so right. You had restriction as a priest. Why? Because you would coexist with this incredible energy of God, and you don't want die like happened with Aaron's son. The two sons that died the same day because they simply did not follow instruction. Now, another thing... They
used wrong fire. They decided that God had it wrong and they had it right. So they're going to go get some cow chips or some camel chips and they're going to throw it onto the fire, right? Wrong.
Right. So basically, we're trying to understand that the instruction that God made, they're so precise and they're so perfect, because obviously he is the biggest, his biggest intention is to keep children of Israel alive. right?
Not kill them all.
Not to kill them, right? And now he is structuring everything to the point that that energy that he created would not be harmful for people. And there's a certain instruction we will see today that God guiding people what they need to follow, what kind of instruction they need to follow, and who's supposed to care about what. Right. Like, for example, Levi's supposed to care about what is inside of a Holy of Holies.
Right.
And other people, they could not. And
right.
we're going to read today clearly, they say, God said, in other way, they're going to die.
Right.
And it's not the God going to kill them. It just they're not in alignment with that energy, their energy, not in this alignment with energy of God. And they simply could not sustain. So visually, it just for me, but visually, there's, if you're going to look some fiction story for kids, for example, right? A magical story, you would think about something so shiny, bright, magical, right? And then suddenly that things get covered with a black clothing, right? And you don't see that magic anymore. Right. Or you can take it off again and ta-da-da, right? All this incredible magic coming back. Right. It's not like that magic disappear under that clothing, right? But somehow this protection that covers that magic is keeping basically distance, right? On the way of anybody who's around. So the same here. So we do have low energy rams, even though the rams are clean animals, but just because they dyed red, they basically penetrated with this low energy. And then in addition, the tabernacle was covered above with budget skins, right, which is even more low energy.
Unclean animal.
Unclean animal. Well, they don't even have to be dyed in red color because they're already clean, not clean enough. And you know, some people, they're just like, I noticed this, we all will talk about God and we're saying, well, it's all so pure, it's all so beautiful. So we're not exactly comprehending what's happening, right? It's some people even saying, well, you know, it's the same like you put pig skin on something that belongs to God. It's basically a kind of wrong, right? That's the way they feel.
Swine's flesh. Anyone who participates in swine's flesh ain't going to be there.
Right. But the point is here. Right.
No unclean animals.
Right. But point is here that God, by doing this, it's not like he's like suddenly his energy become dirty energy, right? No.
Dirty animals.
Dirty energy.
Like a badger, unclean.
But the point is that he cares enough about children, his children of Israel, then they would not die for this incredible source of energy, then they could not sustain, right? Remember, all the people, we know that they should go through certain offerings and certain celebration and certain feasts. We learn about all of this, right? Why it's happening? Why there's a day of forgiveness for everybody? Because their energy should be sustainable on a certain level and should move on forward to the point when the Christ is born. So what happened was the Christ is born. Well, there's no longer that separation needed between God's presence and you. Why? Because Christ himself is the way. Remember, he said, I am the way. Through me, you can go to my Father. You can't go without me, period. And people not kind of understanding what does that even mean? Is that he's the road, he's gonna grab my hand and bring me to Father? What is happening? Well, this is exactly what's happening. That his energy vibration after his crucifixion was low into the point that you can enter and go directly to God through him, through his low energy vibration. And that veil that was protecting those badger skins, anything that was protecting this incredible energy of God, they could harm you. There is no longer necessary for this reason. So now you can go directly to God. Why? Because you're going through Jesus Christ. You're not going directly You're going through your faith in Jesus Christ, and that's the only way you can be in alignment with God, and the only way then you can sustain His energy, tete-a-tete, one-on-one.
Okay, and let me interject. All right? So it could be badger skins. It says badger skins, right? If you look it up in the Strong's Concordance, it says antelope skins. Why? Badgers are unclean. Pigs are unclean. Vultures are unclean. Obviously. I think any idiot would know that, right? Crows eating off the road, anything dead. I think, remember there's a saying, eating crow? That's going as low as you can go, right? The thing is that, you know, you don't have to do anything. This is 4,000 years ago. We weren't there. We don't have a clue. It's just what the word's saying. Okay? What about the translations? There's, I can't remember where it was, but it talks about the unicorn, right? We all know there's no such thing as unicorns. Horses with horns coming out of their head. Twisty horns, right? Ain't happening. Kind of like unicorns are right up there with Sasquatch and evolution. All that BS, right? Right. Okay. The thing is, it translates in the Strong's Concordance, badger skins, antelope skins. Antelope is clean. Badger's not clean. Maybe they were badger skins. Maybe they were antelope skins, right? Don't know, wasn't there. Different opinions. Now, my opinion is, doesn't really matter because it's got nothing to do with your salvation. It's got nothing to do with you seeking God. So, everybody's got opinions, right? Right. Figure it out. Maybe you can do some deeper studying, right? Scholars do deeper studying, right? But again, opinions, right?
Well, important part just to understand, because when people don't understand, they take everything lightly, and they don't understand how serious it is because you want or you do not want. But the rule of God, the world of God, rules by quantum physics. Physics where the laws of energy present, and when we study closely and we understanding, then there's a reason why the skin of ram, which is clean animal, but was painted in a red color, which was low energy of that skin. There was a reason for that. It's not because he just like, and think about the ram skin going to be under the skin of the badger. Right? So it's under. Who even cares? What is under? The only thing what it cares is energy, because energy going through everything. There is no any basically edges that can stop energy of flowing. Right? It can reduce the intensity of the energy, and that's basically what happened. But again, there's a reason for absolutely everything, and just by study and understanding, we can get close in understanding what's going to happen with our 11 energy of our soul. And those beautiful white gallons, those are energy, certain level of energy. If you call it 50 shades of white, it's going to be different shades of that white energy. Not everybody going to have identical color, because that's how you're going to be judged. So people think about, God gonna put you on front of you and just say, you've been a bad boy, you've been a good girl, or whatever they are. He doesn't have to do it, because your energy of your soul will shine at certain level, and it's going to be either in alignment with God or in misalignment with God. Right. Period. It doesn't matter. You're going to be judged according to your works that going to be reflected in the color of your gallons that's supposed to be bright and white and beautiful, just like God energy is. Will it be? Will it not? Well, that's what we're working on. We're working to improve our energy, and we must understand the meaning of all of this. Because if we don't understand, we take things so slightly. We're reading this as a history book. Yes, it did happen, But if we will start understanding why it happened and what God meant behind, obviously he could not talk in laws of physics and energy at that time because nobody would understand any of this. So people just could follow his instruction. But instructions were so precise to the point that if people did not follow instruction, they simply died. As a matter of fact, we're going to go right now very quick to 2 Samuel. Let's take this reading, very important. 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 6.
Okay. 2 Samuel 6, 6. Almost there.
Second Samuel chapter 6, verse 6.
Okay. And when they came to Nachon's threshing floor, Uzziah put forth his hand to the ark of God and took hold of it. He touched it. Wrong. For the oxen shook it. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Uzziah. And God smote him, killed him, fried him right there for his error. And there he died by the ark of God. Now this is a great day. This is an awesome day. The ark of God that was in the, what was it, Amalekites or Philistines? Somebody had it, right? And the whole country was getting totally cursed with hemorrhoids and rat infestation. And they go, we got to get rid of this thing. Well, they knew what it was. They're heathen, but they knew there's too much power in this ark. So they sent it back on an ox cart. Unfortunately for these Israel, right? They didn't realize how it's supposed to be carried. They forgot. And you forget about how God does it, you're going to have some people are going to have eternal problems, right?
And what's really happened here, that this person who touched the ark without understanding the power of this energy that present there was in alignment with him, and it simply killed him. It's not like God strike him. It's not like God got mad at him. It's simply misalignment of energy, and you cannot simply coexist with this energy. And when God said don't touch, it's exactly what he meant, because he warned you that this is what's going to happen. Now, let's just go to the verse 11.
Let me say one thing. Isn't God cruel, all the little babies on earth that are suffering and dying? Isn't God cruel? This guy gets zapped. No, man is stupid. It's got nothing to do with God being cruel. He loves you. He's trying to teach you, but you don't learn. And then you blame God. It's kind of a bad rap for God, if you ask me, right?
And now we're going to scroll on verse 11 and 12, the same chapter. 2 Samuel 6, chapter 6, verse 11 and 12.
Okay. And the ark of the Lord continued in the house of Obadiah the Gittite 3 months, and the Lord blessed. Well, the ark of God is there. He blessed Obadiah and all his household. And it was told King David, saying, the Lord hath blessed the house of Obadiah and all that pertaineth unto him, because of the ark of God. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obadiah into the city of David with gladness. Okay. Hopefully they brought it up right, through the staves, not on a cart. God didn't say, he never said, put the ark, the holy ark of the covenant that was in the Holy of Holies, that only one time a year the priest could go in, right? To be in its presence, and if he had any sin, he's dead, right? Mm-hmm. You don't throw that on an ox cart, right? You have loops, right? You have stems, whatever that 15-foot sticks. Men carry one on each side, 4 men carry the ark of God wherever it's going, not jackasses and oxen on a cart.
Well, it's kind of interesting because they did not really carry, but they had rings, right, on the Ark of Covenant, and then they had sticks, and they really hold the sticks. They did not touch the ark. They were prohibited from touching the ark. Now, the reason why I want you to read these 2 verses, where this person considered to be blessed just because he had this ark for 3 months, right? You have to think about what an incredible energy.
Those were the best 3 months of that guy's life.
Yeah, and look what
guaranteed.
And look what David did. He got this ark from this guy with gladness, right? Because he knew that he was going to be in this this penetration, basically, of this incredible energy of God, presence in His kingdom, and that's what he wanted. So this is what happened. This is what happened when you visit different cities, different country, different locations. Like some location you visit and you come back home and you feel like you're like about to fly. You're all refreshed, you're good, you feel fantastic. But some places you visit, you come home and you just like feel so drained out. It's like you feel like a squeezed lemon.
Drained your spirit.
Right. So it is matter where you're going, what you're doing, and who you surround you by. And this is exactly what's showing you 2 examples here that it is, number 1, important to follow God's instruction, what He said and how He said. And number 2, it is blessing to be in His presence, and this person who had this ark for 3 months obviously was blessed.
Right. It was like Jacob going for Rachel, right? Okay, work for me. Laban said what? His father-in-law, work for me for 7 years, and you get Rachel, and he gave him Leah, right, the firstborn. So then, I can't give up the secondborn before I give up the firstborn, right? All right, whatever. Then Jacob is there another 7 years to get the wife he loves, Rachel. Once he was ready to leave, I think after about 20 years, he even stayed longer. Man, Laban didn't like that idea. Why? Because Laban is getting blessed, and he knows it. Laban isn't getting blessed because of his daughters. Laban isn't getting blessed because of his great thinking. Laban's getting blessed with all his household, his livestock. He's getting blessed for one reason alone: Jacob. And why is Jacob blessed? Because Jacob is Israel. That's why. Period. And he knew it.
Very true. Yeah. Super important. Also in this chapter, we're going to talk about probation time, right? And we will see different timing that God chooses for children of Israel to take the time, and as we on the move, basically, of Tabernacle, going to that land of milk and honey, we will see that God considered that probation time that you probably want to give to your workers or somebody that you know. So in other words, that time would show that person on a good or on a bad way, and according to that you can make certain decision. We also learn that God is very particular, right? So you will see that He is so precise to the very little moments in everything with children of Israel. There is really procedure and order for everything in God's kingdom. Also, God means what He says, and He doing it, and His seriousness in His third earth age, showing to us that how to be in alignment with Him. And that's pretty much what we're going to face in this chapter 4.
Wrapping it up. Now we're going to begin.
Yes. So we are on Numbers. And this is book 4 and chapter 4 and verse 1.
All right. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, Take the sum, the total of the sons of Kohath from among the sons of Levi. Kohathites are Levites, after their families, by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even until 50 years old, all that enter into the host to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. So they have 20 years to get this work done. This shall be the service of the sons of Kohath in the tabernacle of the congregation about the most holy things. Now remember, these Kohathites are Levites, descendants of Kohath, but they're not Moses, they're not Aaron, they're not what was the other? What was that son name? There was only 3 that could go into the Holy of Holies. We'll see it in a minute.
So here we have, and there were sons of Levi on the name of Gershon and Kohath and Merari. So Gershon was the oldest one. Now we're kind of changing a little bit order, and you will understand why in a little bit. So we're talking about the middle son Kohath.
Right. 4?
5.
5. And when the camp setteth forward, Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil and cover the ark of the testimony with it, which is the veil that they enter into the Holy of Holies.
Let's stop for a second. Let's see exactly who did what. We talk about son of Levi, right? And we talk about Kohath, that was a son of Levi,
right,
one of the 3 family. However, the Aaron is allowed to take a covering and cover with veil the ark of the testimony before he going to pass this to Kohath to carry this ark.
Right.
So it's meaning this covering will allow the energy of this ark for Kohath would not be striked as the sons of Aaron previously did.
If Kohath went in, well, I'll just go ahead and handle this, right? No.
Yeah.
No, you're not going
do
to
it.
handle it. You're going to wind up like the guy that put his hand on the ark, touched the ark, and
So
smoke.
this
You're gonna be
is
smoke.
basically the explanation, and the next chapter will tell us what law in the energy of ark to go from Aaron to Kohath, for Kohath not to end up to be dead.
Right.
So let's read next verse is 6.
And shall put thereon the covering of badger skins, badger or antelope, whatever, and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue, and shall put in the staves thereof. So they're putting the staves through the loops of the Ark of the Covenant. So there's one man on this side, 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 carrying the Ark of the Covenant, which is very heavy. So, they probably every hour switch out some new Kohathites, right? Okay, 7?
7.
And the staves, the poles. You're touching the poles, you're carrying the poles. You're not touching the Ark of the Covenant. And shall put thereon, 7. And upon the table of showbread, they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, and the spoons, and the bowls, and covers, to cover withal, and the continual bread shall be thereon. Kind of reminds me of, when a waiter is cleaning up and he wants to do it real quick. He'll take the tablecloth, everything. He's not getting everything off. Now, he's going to take the tablecloth and he's going to go, and he's got the stuff, right? All in one swoop. And upon the table of showbread, they shall spread a cloth of blue, and put thereon the dishes, spoons, and the bowls. Thereon. And they shall spread upon them a cloth of scarlet red. We got blue going, now we got red. And cover the same with a covering of badger skins, and shall put in the staves thereof.
I'm just gonna stop here for a second. So, why, in addition of the Ark of Covenant itself, right? We also have these elements that inside of this Holy of Holy, and why they have to be covered as well. Well, because the same situation. When something stands in the presence of high energy, vibration penetrates, right? It affects this energy. It's the same like radio station, right? A radio station plays on a certain frequency, and that frequency, even though we don't see it, right, it transfer from receiver to where it goes, right? And this is basically how the signal itself going to transfer in terms of energy. And here we go exactly the same situation where the elements were staying inside the Holy of Holy, but they still have to be covered because the penetration is still very high, and the people can simply die by touching those elements.
Right.
Right.
You know, it's kind of funny too. We got red, and we got blue, and what's the brightest, hottest light there is? White. And from white, you've heard of white hot. When it's white hot, it's hot. Yellow hot's a little less, right? Orange, red hot is a little less. Blue and purple light, right, is much less. But white hot, what is the flag of the United States of America? Red, white, and blue, right? Just something that kind of came to me, right? Interesting, I guess. Okay, 9. And they shall take a cloth of blue and cover the candlestick of the light, and his lamps, and his tongs, and his snuff dishes, and all the oil vessels thereof, wherewith they minister unto it. And they shall put it, and all the vessels thereof, within a covering of badger skins, and shall put it upon a bar. And upon the golden altar they shall spread a cloth of blue, royalty, and cover it with a covering of badger skins, and shall put to the staves thereof. And they shall take all the instruments of ministry, wherewith they ministered in the sanctuary, and put them in a cloth of blue, and cover them with a covering of badger skins, and shall skins, and shall put them on a bar. Give her a little bump, and put them on a bar, and they shall take away the ashes from the altar, and spread a purple cloth thereon. More royalty, purple, red, blue, and purple, sign of royalty. And they shall put upon it all the vessels thereof, wherewith they minister about it, even the censers, the flesh hooks, the shovels, and the basins, all the vessels of the altar. And they shall spread upon it the covering of skins, badger skins, and put to the staves of it. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering the sanctuary and all the vessels of the sanctuary, as the camp is set forward, after that, who comes in? Next level, right? So nobody gets hurt, nobody gets fried.
And let's just read one more time. And when Aaron and his sons have made an end of covering, when they finish the covering with this badger skin, right, everything, when it's covered, only after that the son shall come and bear it.
Right.
But they shall not touch any holy things, lest they die.
Yep. We're getting serious, remember? Hey, you know, it's like in those gangster movies, right? What would the guy say? Hey, you come in and rob a bank or something. All right, everybody do what I say, nobody gets hurt, right? Get on the floor now. You better get on the floor now, or you're going to get knocked to the floor, right? Right. 16. And to the office of Eliezer, that was the one I was thinking of. You've got Abraham, you've got Aaron, and you've got Aaron's son Eliezer. These are the three that are allowed at the time to go into the Holy of Holies. No one else, no Kohathites, none. Until the Levites, these three Levites, get everything set up.
And just to understand, it has nothing to do with praising this person and saying, oh, this person so on. It has nothing to do with that. It has an alignment with the energy of this person to coexist with the energy of God.
Right.
If you will start understanding this, you will start understanding why you need to work on your soul and why you need to perfect energy of your soul. Another way, you never understand and you never will work because there's no purpose for you. It's not like, oh, follow commandments of God. Why? Why you have to follow commandments of God? Because you have to keep your soul pure. Remember those white beautiful garlands to coexist with God? It's not because you, bad boy or bad girl, didn't follow commandments of God. No, it will affect your soul. So be at least selfish and love yourself and do what God said. Because just like these people, they could not coexist with the energy of God and they simply could die. The same that you will not able to coexist with the energy of God unless you're gonna work with your soul and bring soul to the energy level that acceptable to God. And Jesus said, be perfect as your Father wants for you to be, right? Yeah.
Right.
Okay, and 17.
I think 16. We didn't talk about the oil pertaining to right.
Good.
And to the office of Eliezer, the son of Aaron, the priest pertaineth the oil for the light, and the sweet incense for the prayers, representing prayers, the daily meat offering, and the anointing oil, and the oversight of all the tabernacle, and of all that therein is, in the sanctuary and in the vessels thereof. So there's all kinds of stuff that have to be done right, handled properly. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, cut ye not off the tribe of the families of the Kohathites from among the Levites, but thus do unto them that they may live and not die. When they approach unto the most holy things, Aaron and his sons shall go in, not the Kohathites. Aaron and his sons go in first. They got work to do. Why? So they don't kill their brethren, the other Levites, the Kohathites. And his sons shall go in, and appoint them every one to his service and to his burden. They shall not go in to see when the holy things are covered, lest they die. There's an order here. Keep the order and don't die. God doesn't want to kill you.
Again, but they shall not go in to see when the holy things are covered, right? So when they're not covered yet, they just cannot go there.
Curiosity killed the cat, right? Don't get curious. Don't think I'm going to do a good deed like what's his name put his hand up to the ark and got fried, right? Don't do good deeds. Do what God says. Obey, obey, obey. You'll do all right. You'll come out alive.
Very true. 21.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, take also the sum of the sons of Gershon throughout the houses of their fathers by their families. I think Gershon's more Levites, right?
He's the oldest son.
He's the oldest son. Mm-hmm. From 30 years old and upward until 50 years old shalt thou number them, all that enter in to perform the service, to do the work in the tabernacle of the congregation. This is the service of the families of Gershonites, to serve and for burdens. So you got Aaron and his sons, right? Eliezer, they're up here. And okay, you got the Kohathites, they're a notch lower. Well, why is that? Because that's the way it is in life. There's bosses, there's generals, there's sergeants, there's corporals, all kinds of people, right? That's up to God, not up to us. Okay, 24. This is the service of the families of Gershonites, to serve and for burdens. They're more the mules. They're doing the heavy work. And they shall bear the curtains of the tabernacle and the tabernacle of the congregation, his covering and the covering of the badger skins that is above upon it, and the hanging for the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the hangings of the court, and the hangings for the door of the gate of the court, which is by the tabernacle and by the altar round about, and their cords, and all the instruments of their service, and all that is made for them. So shall they serve. At the appointment of Aaron and his sons shall be all the service of the sons of the Gershonites, in all their burdens and in all their service, and ye shall appoint unto them in charge of all the burdens, the heavy work. This is the service of the family of the sons of Gershon in the tabernacle of the congregation, and their charge shall be under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. So obviously, a son of Aaron the priest is going to be the boss of these people. As for the sons of Merari, thou shalt number them after their families by the house of their fathers. From 30 years old, again, and upward, even unto 50 years old, shalt thou number them, every one that entereth into the service to do the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. And this is the charge of their burden, according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, the boards of the tabernacle, and the bars thereof, and the pillars thereof, and sockets thereof, heavy stuff, and the pillars of the court round about, and their sockets, and their pins, and their cords, with all their instruments, and with all their service. And by name ye shall reckon the instruments of the charge of their burden. You know, it may sound a little, but what are we talking about? Order, obey the order of things. Clean and unclean, be clean. Man, sometimes it gets redundant. No, it doesn't get redundant. You start getting disease, it doesn't get redundant, right? Let me tell you, you don't want disease. You want to keep it clean. 33? Mm-hmm. This is the service, the families of the sons of Merari, according to all their service in the tabernacle of the congregation, under the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. And Moses and Aaron and the chief of the congregation numbered the sons of the Kohathites after their families and after the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50. Again, friendly reminder, everyone that entereth into the service for the work of the tabernacle of the congregation. And those that were numbered of them by their families were 2,750. These were they that were numbered of the families of the Kohathites, all that might do service in the tabernacle of the Lord. I think it's, not Lord, congregation. Thought it would be Lord. Which Moses and Aaron did number according to the commandment of the Lord by the hand of Moses. And those that were numbered of the sons of Gershon throughout their families and by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward even to 50 years old, everyone that entered into the service for the work in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them throughout their families by the house of their fathers, were 2,650. These are they that were numbered of the families of the sons of Gershon. More like, the mulish type people, right? The heavy, the burdensome. Carried the burdens of all that might do service in the tabernacle of the congregation, whom Moses and Aaron did number according to the commandment of the Lord. And those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari, throughout their families, by the house of their fathers, from 30 years old upward even to 50 years old, more Levites, every one that entered into the service for the work in the tabernacle of the congregation, even those that were numbered of them after their families, were 3,200. These be those that were numbered of the families of the sons of Merari, whom Moses and Aaron numbered according to the word of the Lord by the hand of Moses. All those that were numbered of the Levites, whom Moses and Aaron and the chief of Israel numbered, after their families and after the house of their fathers, from 30 years old and upward, even unto 50 years old, every one that came to do the service of the ministry and the service of the burden in the tabernacle of the congregation. Even those that were numbered of them were 8,580. A score is 20, 4 scores 80. According to the commandment of the Lord, they were numbered by the hand of Moses, every one according to his service and according to his burden. Thus were they numbered of him as the Lord commanded Moses. And I want to say one thing about, and by the way, everybody, including Levites, priests, they all had their swords, didn't they? Everybody had their swords. Why? They had a lot of enemies. An opinion. I think every human being on earth should be forced to do at least 2 years, where? In the military. Out of high school, kind of like the country of Israel. I was over in Israel. You'd see 16-year-old girls in khaki with AK-47s or AR-15s, right? Walking home from school, doing whatever they're doing, right? Why? That's one big enemy country that has a lot of enemies, right? But you go into service, what's it like? It's like this. How many people on earth right now, green freaks, they don't have any idea what military service is like. They think everything's owed to them. Military people fight and bleed and die for these idiots to sit here and call them baby killers. No respect for the country. No respect for God. Why do we allow that? Pretty pathetic, pretty sick, in my opinion.
Okay, so we finalize our
now on a happier note, go ahead.
So we finalize our chapter 4, and as you can see, by bits and pieces, we collect an incredible, important information that can change your life forever, because that's the whole purpose, right? When you're just reading and you receive the knowledge is one thing, but the application of this knowledge to your life, that's what matters. And that's why we're taking time to read, to understand, and to bring this knowledge to you, to ourselves, and appreciate God and what He gave to us. And we thank you so very much for taking your time, and you will definitely thankful yourself later on when you will comprehend and understand how important that is, what you're doing for yourself. And we thank you again.
All right, get ready for chapter 5. Here it comes. See you next time.